Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of My Dog Ate My Podcast. I'm your host, Emily, and every week I chat with a different dog owner about their dog. This week I'm chatting with Michael, who is the proud dad of Zoe Wren, the 4-year-old Brat, aka Boston Terrier and Rat Terrier mix. Enjoy! Hi, Zoe.
Look.
She
Oh,
is so cute. So
yeah.
she definitely, is she 50-50 Boston Terrier and Rat Terrier?
We haven't went ahead and gotten any tests or anything like about it yet. Whenever we went to go get her, she was advertised as one thing, which was supposed to be, I believe it was like a Boston, right? And then whenever we got there, it had been, oh God, almost a year since we had lost our previous dog,
Mm-hmm.
Callie, and Callie, a border Aussie. And so my wife wanted to surprise me with us getting a new dog again. And whenever we got out to where we were supposed to pick it up, they weren't completely truthful about what her breed was and everything.
Mm.
And we did end up getting her for cheaper than what we were expecting to, just because we, kind of talked some common sense into the person. And whenever we had eventually brought her to the vet had said that he didn't believe that she was like just Boston. She thought that there was maybe a mixture of Boston and Rat Terrier. Yeah.
Yeah, because looking at her, she definitely seems very rat terrier-y, like in
Oh,
appearance.
oh yeah. Well, personality wise, she has a lot of the Boston also.
Tell me a little bit about her name.
So Zoe is one of the characters that my wife liked on one of the shows that she was watching. Was one of her favorite characters, and Wren was actually on the out in the area where we went to pick her up. It was the street where we picked her up from. So
Oh,
it's what she responded to the best. So it just kind of stuck.
and what kind of nicknames have come out of Zoe Rent? Like, does she go by Zoe normally and get the full name when she's in trouble, or has it evolved into different nicknames? Or, yeah, what do you usually call her?
Well, when we first got her, it was Zozo, Little Z. My brother, her uncle, calls her Fuzzy Butt. He's always like, "Where's my little fuzzy butt?" And she'll get excited
Oh,
about. We live kind of in the country, southern Indiana,
hmm.
so she likes harassing a lot of the animals close to where we are around. So once in a while I'll call her Turkey Bones, Zoomy Zoe, because she just loves zooming around everywhere. Those are some of the ones that have stuck. Yeah.
What are the animals? What kind of animals do you get around there, and what are the ones that she likes to bug the most? Because I know my dogs like to bug the chickens that I have, but yeah, what does she like to get into?
She loves picking on the squirrels. We get some deer that come out here. She's actually befriended some of the like fawns and stuff like that.
Oh,
Um, she's not too crazy about the turkeys that like to roam around here. And I think there's also like chipmunks.
does she ever catch any of them, or she just kind of chases them and antagonizes them? Or
She recently had a birthday on the 28th. So she'll be 4 years old now, right?
mm-hmm.
So the 4 years that we've had here, we've lived here for 2 of those years. And I'd say in the past 2 years, she's killed a handful of like chipmunks, came close on a few squirrels. We also have like coyotes that'll roam like the colder months, and she's really aware of like what's around her. So whenever we bring her out, even though she's small and everything, she's like very very protective, which
Mm.
is what I love about her trait is that she's for being for being so small, it doesn't stop her from like the attitude that she has.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds like she probably thinks she's bigger than she is, but it sounds like she makes a really good guard dog, at least despite her size.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. She's very, very attached to my wife. Like my wife doesn't want to be on camera, but she wanted to say hi. Since I tend to work evenings, like from 3 to 11:30, the biggest portion of the day I'm not there throughout the week. So whenever I'm gone at work, she's attached to my wife's side like all the time. So the weekends is kind of where she gets to veg out and hang with dad more. So
What is her routine usually like with your wife? Is it just hanging out at home? Does she sleep most of the day, or what does a day in the life look like for her?
okay, so normally I'll have come in and settle down and went to bed eventually. Usually, normally myself, I get up at about 10 o'clock, 10:30. And by then, whenever she feels us wrestle, because she sleeps in the bed with her, once she hears any rustling, she'll slide on over to me, and then it's just automatic kisses to the face, like her begging to go out. So then I end up bringing her out. She usually goes potty. Then we come back, and I say like Monday through Friday, we pretty much get back after she gets done going potty, and then go have lunch slash dinner because it's kind of dinner for me since since I'm leaving. So we have lunch, and then after doing a few chores here or there, getting ready for work, then I head off. Now, whenever she's with Kim, depending on what's going on throughout the week, she'll just kind of hang with Kim in our bedroom and watch TV and play, throw touch like that. Then she just kind of like follows Kim all around the house, and Kim brings her out and walks and stuff. She's also really attentive with Kim. When it comes to Kim, like my wife has MS, so she has some health issues and stuff, and Zoe is really really attentive to that. It's one of the things
Oh.
that we've since we've owned her is that she can tell when Kim feels good and when she doesn't, and whenever she senses that well, even myself, like I don't get sick that often, but whenever anybody is not feeling good, she's very attentive to them and like kind of just plastered to them and everything. So yeah,
So she's a good kind of like nurse dog. Does she ever alert to anything before you realize it, or can you like sense that something's about to come on because you can tell that she's acting differently?
with our house, without giving away too much personal information, like we live in the lower portion of like a very large house. It's like a shared family situation.
Hmm.
And so our portion down here, we kind of have like the area down here is like split in half. We share with another family member. Where I'm speaking to you right now is actually a garage that's been converted into a living room. And then we have our bedroom. So anywhere that she's at, if she hears any noise that she doesn't recognize or she thinks is a person, then yeah, she'll alert us without a doubt. And a lot of times, like when we first got her, like nobody wants to be like mean to their dog whenever they're just trying to be helpful. At first, we used to be like, "Stop, Zoe, stop, stop," whenever.
Yeah.
But we've learned that at least with how she behaves, it'd be better for us to like thank her, be like,
Hmm.
"Thank you, Zoe." And then once she gets up to us and understands that that's the case, then she usually settles down. But yeah, no, she's very aware.
That's fantastic, especially for such a small dog and like, living out somewhere with a lot of, animals out there. You don't know if there's ever any trouble, but she'll be the first one to let you know, which that sounds great.
When we first moved out here, we were wanting to allow her to be outside. Have you ever seen those little like metal like fence posts
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you can mush into the ground? We've got one of those set out close to the porch for her, and then just obscene amount of length of just like tie out rope, and
Yeah.
she loves going out on that. And plus, it allows her to get outside and enjoy some stuff, and allows us to be able to still have an eye on her and not worry about her running. The only bad thing I'd say, which isn't her fault, I understand it's just her instinct, is when we first got her, there were two or three times where she like broke free and like ran off to another farm. And
Oh,
so we had to go ahead and look for it. Eventually she ended up coming back, but she's much better at it now. But we had a little problem with recall for a while there. But then again, I mean, as much as it scares me as an owner, I realize she just wants to go and have fun.
yeah, and especially like she could be on the scent trail of like a squirrel or something, and so she's just
Yeah,
following like, oh, where did the squirrel go? All the way over to the neighbors who are far away.
off to the back left side of us, there's a field in the back part where we live, and there's like a few different houses that surround us because we're kind of like in a cul-de-sac area. And so off to the left, I'd say there's a farmer that has the area fenced off, but he has cows. One of the times that she broke free, she went to go check out the cows and some of the dogs that they had. And when she came back, she actually had rolled around in some mud or whatever it was. So it hasn't happened too much, but there's been times where we brought her back and we've had to like wash her like two or three times, like in a sitting just to get the smell off. But yeah,
Yeah, it's like
yeah,
you don't know what whose poop she rolled in. It's like
right?
you
Right.
hope it's all dirt, but you know it's probably not. What do you imagine like her internal voice sounds like?
Okay, so I ran some of some of the questions that you had. Even though she's not appearing, I wanted to have her opinion also,
Hmm.
counted. Me and her both agree that if she had a voice, a sort of an accent or something like that, that we think it would kind of be like Chicago Girl, because
Ah.
for being a small dog, like she really does with some of her behaviors, she acts really human, right?
Hmm.
And whenever she gets like sassy or has an attitude, she's smart, but she's also not afraid to be sassy. And because of the whole rat terrier and bulldog, for as intelligent as they are, they're very smart, but they're also very, very pushy,
Yeah.
right? So she can be very insistent. And my wife, her having grown up in northern Indiana, grown up around some of the people that she knew, it reminded her of like some of the Chicago girls that she knew, just very sort of like sarcastic and sassy and pushy.
I love that. I think that's fantastic. Because a lot of times people think of like, what tone of voice or something like that, but I love that you have it narrowed down to like the Chicago girl, like the attitude,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
way of talking. Yeah.
I would picture it would be some sort of like mid-tone, raspy, like "Hey, what are you doing here?" type thing. That type of
Hmm.
that type of attitude. I can see that when I look at her.
Yeah, yeah. And then I think probably one of the last questions that I have for you, as this time goes by so quickly when I do these, what do you imagine like her theme song would be? Like, what's a good song that fits her attitude, her personality, any of the above?
Well, there's two of them. One, which is kind of her attitude in general, and the other one. So one of the nicknames that we told you was like Zoomy Zoe, right?
Hmm.
So she loves to do zoomies. Not trying to sound too gross to anybody that's watching, but like in order to help train her and associate things better in terms of like what she's doing to reinforce things, like whenever she goes poop, we'll be like, yeah. And so then when she comes in, she is amped up. She knows that she did a good job, and she like when she will run around and everything. So my wife says that she thinks Seven Nation Army would be one that would be and whenever she's in her full form, like whenever she's visited my brother and sister-in-laws that live like just right next to us in the shared space, right? And then also upstairs, there's also family that lives there too, other brother and sister-in-laws. Because it's a shared family space. Whenever she's at her peak, having seen everybody and run around and like chewed up her toys, because we constantly buy her toys because she chews things up like crazy. Not any of our personal stuff, but the toys, right? My wife and we both agreed that we think "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor" is definitely kind of a Zoe
Yes.
because she just goes crazy.
Oh, I love both of those songs for her. It's like good to illustrate two different parts of her day, pretty much.
Picture Seven Nation Army is just kind of her, kick around the house, But whenever she loses her stuff and she's at her happiest, it's definitely "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor." She's a handful, but I love her though.
She's so cute. So her Instagram, is that right? It's at Zoe Wren Baby Brat. So that's ZoeWren Baby Brat. And then your rescue or shelter shout out is Monroe County Humane Society. Is that your local humane society near where you live?
Yeah, yeah, it's near Bloomington. I live out in Springville is just a little bit outside of Bloomington. It's like
Mm-hmm.
between Bloomington and Bedford, and I work in Bloomington. Yeah, it's the one that it was the closest to us whenever we lived in Bloomington, and so I'm
Mm-hmm.
familiar with what they do. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Well, I think that's all we have time for. Again, these things go by so quickly when when I do them, but I really appreciate your flexibility with the tools and everything and making this work.
Well, it was a pleasure meeting you, Emily.
Yeah, likewise. Have a good rest of your day and have a great rest of your weekend too. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget that you can find My Dog Ate My Podcast anywhere that you get your podcasts. And if you want to follow Zoe Wren on Instagram, it's at Zoe Wren Baby Brat. That's ZoeWren Baby Brat. And Zoe and her dad's shelter shout out of the episode is Monroe County Humane Society in Indiana. So if you're in the area and you're looking to adopt your next pet, be sure to check them out. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.